Okay, Albert Grande here, pizzatherapy.com. I am with Tommy Iannucci and Serhsn Ayhan, both New York boys. Tommy now lives in Kauai. Serhan still lives in New York. We're talking New York pizza.
Yeah.
So, what's going on with New York, guys? Tommy, you just came back.
So I did something different this time. So normally I go in and I go to all the mainstays, and you're spoiled, right? Because you know who they are, you go there. But this time I thought, I'm just going to go random.
Yeah.
And I did a bunch of random guys, and I found one or two guys. That was a guy named Vito's on 9th Avenue, Hell's Kitchen. Wasn't that bad at all, but I actually walked out of a bunch of them, and it was pretty bad. And it just kind of rang a bell to me that for as many unbelievably good pizzas we have in New York, there's a lot of bad guys. You know?
I mean, the sample size is so big,
Yes,
right? That like,
yes.
you're gonna get some good ones and some bad ones.
So okay, here's my thing, being the old guy. So back in the 70s and 60s, what, you born in the 70s?
How old do you think I am?
28, I don't know. So back in the day, right, there really, honestly, if you were a bad pizzeria, you'd be out of business.
Yeah.
Because the options were plentiful.
Yeah.
So what I feel like in a good way, is the globalization of pizza, right? And we get to experiment, and we get to experience a larger cross section of pizza. I feel like a lot of people have learned about the commercialization. Now, you can make money making pizza, and I think the quality and a lot of those things goes down, and it's kind of surprising being from the old time to see how many marginal pizzerias. And then I think people are coming to visit New York, and they go into these guys, and this is
high expectations, right? And then
or they think this is New York pizza, you know, and it's a real
Well, maybe compared to where they're visiting from,
could be better.
Yeah.
Serhan, you're known for making incredible pizza. I've seen a lot of your pizzas.
Thank you.
They make my mouth water.
And bread.
Bread.
Well, pizza is bread, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So what are some pizza secrets for you?
Pizza secrets. I mean, I think big thing is just keep doing it, right? Every week, and the secrets will kind of just reveal themselves. The more you practice, the better you're gonna get at it, and you'll reach kind of these eureka moments, and the practice is gonna, just like bread ferments, it's gonna ferment in your mind, right? And then you'll find different ideas that you want to experiment, and just the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. So yeah.
Do you have some favorite pizzerias in New York that you like, that are your A-list?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my top 5 right now.
Yeah.
Scarr's Pizza, Lower East Side, Filomena's in Queens, Bellucci's Pizza, also in Queens. So those two are newcomers. Industrie in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And Mama's too. And I think these 5 are, they've kind of each done something a little different. Some are taking a little spin or something different about kind of a classic and bringing it to like the modern era, I think. And they're all pretty different, but they're all, they're very dedicated to what they're doing. So, and I think you've been to.
I've been to all of them,
almost all,
except for Bellucci.
Right? Yeah, he's pretty new.
Yeah.
So, and he's here. So we'll probably get a chance to.
Mama's too. I love Scarr's. All those guys. I mean, Filomena's. He does a great job. He's on the. He needs.
You need to interview him.
He deserves more attention because he's really doing a fantastic job. Industrie is. I'm going to go further out and say King Umberto's, Johnny Ches.
For sure.
But it's not really in the city. You got to get on the train to get to that one. When you got to get on the Long Island Railroad, you're in a different place. But I really like Mama's. I like pizza. They were good. Pizza quadrata romana, doing a Roman style. I like them. And actually, I liked Pizza Loves Emily down in the what's that, lower west side, or where's that?
Well, they have the original in Brooklyn, And
Yeah,
I know
no,
they've expanded,
yeah.
like even in Nashville.
I like
now.
they do a Detroit, and they have a very unique twist on it.
Yeah,
but-
I think they call it American wood-fired pizza is what they call
Right,
it. So
right.
that's the thing with New York, right? Like you're able to find so many different styles, interpretations. You can find Detroit, you can find New York, obviously. There's the grandma.
which was never around before.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is a newer. Before it was just straight,
Yeah,
slice. What we would call as kids Neapolitan
Yeah.
pizza.
right.
What they call today New York pizza.
Right.
That's kind of what's really interesting about pizza in New York. There is a diversification, and people
sure.
doing like Anthony Mangieri at Una Pizza, doing their own take and bringing it to a level. And so there's a lot of pizza. And then, but Scarr's to me is just good classic.
You're transported into
Yeah.
another time. I think he does a great job of expressing a New Yorkness, right?
Right,
Like
right,
a lot
right.
of people might not be familiar with, right?
Right.
With, the simplicity of the menu, the signage, the wood paneling. I think it's part of New York culture, right? And like it does a very good job of retaining that and expressing that.
I like Lucali's in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I mean, he has his own little unique, rolling them out with the wine bottle
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah,
He's
it
got,
works, yeah.
and it's darn good.
Yeah, it's
Now,
nice and
if you,
crispy.
it is, and if you can stand the weight, that's the whole thing is the weight. But that's a damn good pizza.
How was it going to Lucali's? Tell us what happened.
Here's my Lucali story.
All right.
My Lucali story is this. First, I called Johnny Ches and I said, "Hey, do you know what's his first name?
Mark?
Mark.
Yeah.
Icona.
Icona? I don't know.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I said, you know Mark? And he's like, yeah, I know Mark. I'm like, dude, I want to meet the guy. And, he's like, yeah, I called him up. He's not in town. I'm like, all right. So I showed up at 7:30 at night on a Wednesday. And I said, yeah, I'd just like to get a table, for one. And they're like, yeah, we can get you in like 3 hours. I'm
Yeah.
like, 3 hours?
That's a good night, too.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, well, all right, just give me a pizza to go. They said, an hour and a half. And I said, because I had never been there, and they said, oh, you got to get on a list. And you come at 5,
Yep.
which isn't really accurate. Come at 5. You come at 5 and get your name on a list. Well, I'm one of those guys that like to come early, and I was cruising the neighborhood, and I just to see where it was, and I went by on Carroll Street, and there was already 7 or 8 people in line at 3:40.
My goodness.
And I thought, I better stay. So I stayed in line from 3:40 to 5 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock, the line went down the block, around the corner. And now he doesn't have signage. He just has an 8x10 piece of paper with scribbled in pen that says Lucali's takes cash only, and I'm like, this is great. And he only had 5 things on the topping menu there. And at 5 o'clock, I got my name on the list, and they said, all right, you're the first group. You'll be back at 5:45. And I went out and I bought a big 21-ounce beer, and I came back and I got in, and they dropped that pizza on a table 18 inches, and I ate the whole thing.
Wow.
I ate that entire thing. It was so good. And then on the way back I was up at 33rd Street in Koreatown.
Yeah.
And I got off the subway at about 3rd or 4th Street, and I walked the rest of the way because I was so full.
Get off.
But it was a great experience. Great pizza.
Mark actually just opened a slice shop called Baby Luke's.
Where?
I think not too far from.
Wow.
Yeah, and supposedly it's what he envisioned Lucali's to be, more of like a slice shop kind of experience.
Right.
He's got squares. I think he has slices. I haven't been there yet, but it's brand new, and I think he has Negronis also in little bottles. But hoping to try that soon.
DeFars is a fun place to watch. What's the Dom?
Yeah, I don't think he's doing it anymore though. Yeah. I think,
Don DeMarco is not making pizza anymore?
From what I've heard, maybe he is, but
I watched him open the oven.
Yeah.
Was talking to him. He's
Bare
talking to me. He
hands.
takes it, and he with a bare hands. I'm like, oh, yeah,
it's an experience. for
Bare
sure.
hands.
Yeah.
bare hands. Flip the tray around, and so opens the door, moves it around. I'm like, oh my
So
God.
that's the secret. You gotta burn your hands
Iron,
first.
iron fist technique or whatever it was, but there's a lot of interesting and good places,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's some there's a lot of good pizza in New York. We're spoiled. You're spoiled when you go there.
I can't keep up anymore, you know. I think when I was first getting into pizza, I was just trying to try everything. Now it's just like, you know, let me start just making more, you know.
So here's my Serhsn pitch. You need to follow this guy because I follow him. Man. I watch. This guy's the champ, man. I'm like, oh, Serhan, he's got bread. His dough is rising. I've been making pizza since '88. I watch this guy, and I watch the young guys. They got some great stuff, and him and Johnny Ches and some of these young guys. And I watch Serhan stuff, man, and he makes some of the best breads and pizzas, man. And I'm just like, wow, look at this guy. And hey, that's what's cool about today is that the social media side of it. Back in the day, we didn't have any of that stuff.
It's all word of mouth.
But to be able to go on and follow guys like Serhan, which you should, man, and I follow his dad because his dad does crazy art, just great art, man. I like your dad. Yeah. He's like busting things out. But I learn, I watch, and I'm like, wow, what are you doing? And I'm like, I got to do that. He makes great Detroit. He makes great New York. He makes his own stuff. He does all sorts of breads. This guy, you got to go check out his.
During COVID, I was like, you know, I got to find a way to. Everyone found a hobby, right? Like I think 80% of people got into baking. So you know, I just got more into it, and just every week, just a new project. So.
Okay, well, Serhan, how can people find you?
So my Instagram is just literally my name, Serhsn Ayhan. So SERHAN_AYHAN.
Yeah. You should do it.
Yeah.
And Tommy, where can people find you?
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii, down at the beach. At Tommy Iannucci, at Tommy IANNUCCI, Kauai, KAUAI, and that's my new pizza. And so
you've been doing some pretty amazing stuff yourself. I can't believe so.
For sure. I should be.
No. I'm watching guys like Serhan and other people. But you know what? 30 years and still trying to get better, still trying to tweak it. And it's 1988 to now, and that was started out of necessity because when I got to Hawaii, there really wasn't good pizza, but you know.
Well, it's like when people came to New York, right?
Right.
They're like, oh, we gotta.
This is why Neapolitan pizza. This is why New York pizza is not Neapolitan. They morphed.
They had to adapt, right?
And in Connecticut, New Haven, they adapted, and you get these different versions of what they had back home based on what they got. But I'll tell you, it was more brutal back then, and they weren't as nice as Serhan and these other people who
peeling the label off. But this isn't how Hawaiian pizza was born. That's a different.
Lord knows that'd be an interesting story.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking
Thank you.
time to talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. Always a pleasure.